Hey, 7th grade, Mr. Hildebrand here. So we have been working really hard the last couple of days to try to figure out if this ancient Greek poet, author Homer, if he's telling us the truth or if he's lying. Now, we've kind of dove into his story, the Iliad, the ancient Greek poem he wrote about the Trojan War, the Greeks versus the Trojans, that big trick with the Trojan horse. Try to figure out what parts are real, what parts are fake. Now, a couple of days ago, we were watching the Discovery Ed documentary to try to figure out what parts are real and what parts are fake. We also read an article the other day written by National Geographic to try to figure out, is Homer telling the truth or is Homer lying? And we answered questions together on both of those and then also started working on this T-chart. Okay? The video of us making this T-chart is up on the Canvas page in case you didn't fill yours in. Okay, it's going to be super helpful when you're filling out your outline and eventually when you're writing your essay. So if you didn't get this copied down or filled in, check out the Canvas page. It's up there. Okay? So today what we're going to focus on is we're going to focus on taking this information, the research we already did, and filling in our outline. Okay? When we fill in this outline, we're going to see that if we take it step by step and we stay organized, writing our essay about whether Homer's lying or telling the truth is going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be really easy because we've already done the hard work. We've done the research. Now we just need to share that research with others. So if you go to the lesson notes and links page for week 12, that's this week right now, you'll see a couple things. You'll already see the T-chart videos posted there, okay, so you can fill yours in if you don't have them yet. You also have the article there. If you go on to last week's page, you can find the video, okay, if you still need that, and the questions. Today, we're going to focus on how do we make our outline. How do we make our outline? How do we organize all of our thoughts so we know when we're ready to write? Well, we already have the T-chart here, so if you haven't filled that in yet, fill that in. But right here is our essay outline. So if you click on that, pop up. It's an embedded Google Doc. It's embedded as an assignment. It will be the smaller version. If you want a big version of it, just click on the link right there, and it'll pop up. So a question we're trying to answer is Homer lying, or is Homer telling the truth? That's the first thing you're going to want to do is put your name. Okay, my name is Mr. H. And there's a couple things we need. Okay, obviously any good essay is going to have an introduction. Okay, it's going to basically introduce the topic to the reader because maybe they aren't in our class. Maybe they've never heard of Homer. Maybe never heard of the Trojan War. So they need a little bit of help. So if we look first, the first paragraph on this is our intro paragraph. The intro paragraph has a couple different things. First thing it has is a hook. So this is a creative sentence. Could be a fact, could be a question, could be an idea, something to get the reader's attention, right? So we might start off with something, interesting. Like, for example, maybe we start with a question. How can one tell if a story is true? Let me spell that right. How can one tell if a story is true? Right? Maybe we just throw it out there like that. Right? Obviously, the reader's going to be like, well, I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe they have some ideas already. So their brain's already engaged. They're thinking about it. But we can't leave them there because they don't know what the heck we're talking about. So we've got to give them a little bit of background information. So these are details that will help your reader understand what you're going to talk about. So first off, okay, they need to know what story we're talking about. Okay, so we're going to go with some background information. We could say, in ancient times, a Greek author named Homer wrote a story called the Iliad. Okay, that's some good background information, right there. We obviously need two more pieces of background information. We've got to give them enough information they know what it's about. So they might be saying, okay, well, what's the Iliad? What's the story about? Okay, in Homer's story, two ancient civilizations, the Greeks and the Trojans, fought over a kidnapped queen Helen. Okay, so that's a great start. It's a great start. So now the audience knows, hey, we're talking about the Greeks, the Trojans, there's a war, there's a kidnapped queen. Okay, maybe we need a little bit more information. Okay, like what happened. So we could say, according to Homer, the war ended in a stalemate, causing the Greeks to trick the Trojans by building a giant wooden horse. Now, that's not quite the end of the story. So I know we already did our 3 background info, but it might be helpful for the reader to know a little bit more. Okay? So we could say, in the story, Greek soldiers hid inside the horse, and when the Trojans brought it in their city, the Greeks climbed out and opened the city gates. This allowed the Greek army to march in and destroy the city. Okay, so now they're all caught up. The audience knows what we're talking about. They know a little bit about Homer. They know about his story, right? They got their background info. They're all caught up. That brings us to our thesis statement. Now, we know that a thesis statement is going to answer a question, and it's going to give us 3 pieces of evidence. Okay, so our question that we've been trying to answer is Homer lying or telling the truth? So, in our thesis statement, we're going to say, Homer is, okay, now folks, I'm going to put a blank here. But this is the part where you put lying or telling the truth. You get to choose. Or you can say both. Okay. Now we need our transition word. We need our because. Because here's where we need to come up with 3 pieces of evidence. Okay? Because this is reason 1. Now we've got our second blank that you're going to fill in with your own reason. Reason 2. And reason, whoops, let me put a blank here so it looks the same as the other ones. And reason 3. Okay, that's our thesis statement. Folks, right there we've written our introduction paragraph. Okay, we have our hook, something to get the reader's attention. We have our background info. Now folks, your background info and your hook, they might be similar to what I wrote here, but obviously this is your essay, this is your outline. So these are you have to change it to your own words, come up with your own ideas. Okay, if some of the info is the same, I get it. Okay, we're talking about the same author, the same story, but you got to put in your own words. You can't just copy what I have here. And then your thesis statement. Yours isn't going to have all these blanks. You're actually going to be writing a thesis statement. Tell me, is Homer lying? Is he telling the truth? And your 3 reasons why. It's going to be super important. All right. So that is our introduction video to our introduction paragraph. Okay. I'll show you how to do the body paragraphs and the conclusion later. Okay. That'll be our next video. But for right now, just focus on this introduction paragraph. And folks, real quick, for your 3 pieces of evidence, okay, a really good place to look is either back at those video questions or on your T-chart. You already did the work. You already gathered the facts. You already have a bunch of lies, a bunch of truths. Okay, you can pull information from this to put into your background info. You can pull information from that to use as your reasons on your thesis. Okay, so I just did this as kind of a quick example. You guys are obviously going to go through and clean this up a little bit. Okay, use your own words and make sure this looks like a legitimate thesis statement, a real sentence down here. All right, stay tuned for the next video where I show you how to do the rest of the outline.